one thing, to my mind, is missing in our discussion is Afghan-Pakistani relationship. You know that Afghanistan is at the crossroad. It will go in one way, either towards a settlement peace, settled peace, or it will descend to another war and a military victory for Taliban. The world, especially the regional power and Americans included, they want a negotiated settlement in which Taliban will be a part, probably a dominant part of that settlement, and it will be a transitional government. And I think that is the only solution which can bring a all-inclusive, multi-ethnic society into a fold and can stem the chaos which we foresee now and which our Brigadier Saab has pinpointed, which we can avoid that chaos. But in this scenario, another effort is going on in which nobody has yet given attention to, that Britishers have taken upon themselves to bring the two countries together. And the recent meeting of General Bajwa with Ashraf Ghani was facilitated by Britishers, that British general, because you see the atmosphere in Afghanistan and the Pakistan bashing in Afghanistan, putting blame on each and everything happening there on the doorstep of Pakistan. And the British, they know it. But Pakistan has in the past worked on American agenda, especially in Bonn Accord. Pakistan forgot its own interest to put forward. And that interest is that all these blames and all this acquisition coming from Kabul, coming from Afghanistan, is bringing from one thing is that they deny the existence of any internationally acceptable border with Pakistan. And they consider Punjab and Sindh Pakistan. They will never say that we don't interfere. They say, when you ask them, they say we don't consider Afghanistan, KP and Balochistan as a part of Pakistan. They will agree in any settlement, in any agreement, that they will respect the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of Pakistan. For this, they will be prepared. But they won't be prepared to specify it under the present border or under the present geographical reality. No, our policymakers, they always forget about it because they don't know the nitty-gritty or the grassroots knowledge of Afghanistan. And Afghans are wise. They will never open this discussion in any bilateral meeting with you or any international forum. But this is a problem with Pakistan, and it will remain until and unless you press upon them and you press on the regional power that they should recognize the territorial integrity of Pakistan under the present borders, or if they are a worst borders, under the present geographical reality. The British are doing a thing which is, I think, it has been assigned this duty to the British, and they are playing their part, but I don't know, all policymakers in Pakistan probably, as far as come across them, they don't give any attention to this problem. Because it's not felt here, it's felt in our areas, it's felt in tribal area, it's felt in KP, it's felt in Balochistan. Secondly, they always blame Pakistan for interfering inside Afghanistan. I think my book must have opened the eyes of the many people, but Pakistan has never mentioned it because Pakistan doesn't know it, that they have full-fledged Ministry of Interference in Pakistan, Pakistan, and that is the Ministry of Frontiers and Tribes. Just from the very existence in 1950s, it's working beyond the border of Afghanistan towards Pakistan, and they were having their own maliks. They given their allowances. They were recruiting them. They were recruiting their children. They were given sanctuaries to them. To them, Fatah area was a independent Pashtunistan. They used to call it, therefore they used to keep their own maliks there. No Pakistani government, no Pakistani policymakers has ever put forward to it, to them. They have never objected because they don't know. Even the Bonn Accord forgot about it. The Americans, they probably, they also don't know. Let us say, what was the need of revival of that archaic infrastructure which is aimed at interfering beyond the border against all the agreements which they signed with the British. So this problem will remain, it will linger on unless we pay attention to this. What about the settlement? As I told, that everybody here, even in the regional powers, which is Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, and Central Asian republics, as well as Americans and NATO, they all want an interim inclusive government in Afghanistan in which there should be a guarantee. There should guarantee that the Daesh and ISIS and all these terrorist organizations should not operate from the Afghan side. Secondly, they should retain these gains which they have made during all these years in the shape of women education, women rights, in the shape of education and schools and colleges. They should retain those gains and not to destroy those gains. These are where Pakistan also abides by that principle, and Pakistan also is not in favor of a military victory of Taliban. But Afghan scenario, the ground reality of Afghanistan are that the Ghani government is playing spoiler game. And India is one of them which is supporting Ghani government. Taliban, all the powers, they understand that without war, without gun, Taliban are nothing. They will become another Gulbuddins if they left their weapons and declared a ceasefire. And what would be the difference between the two? The one fearsome Gulbuddin is nothing now. Taliban won't accept it until there is a final settlement with them. So before final settlement, they are averse to bring about a ceasefire. The world must understand it, that without a ceasefire, with ceasefire, they will lose the influence. And secondly, they are averse to elections. They say elections are not a part of Islamic system. And in any election taking place, whether now or in future, Taliban will not be the winner because other forces will also win. So Taliban understand this, that their power, it springs from the barrel of their gun. So therefore they are opposed to any ceasefire, and the world is insisting upon ceasefire. And on the other hand, which is the American, probably the American hand, that the Ghani government is reluctant. Ghani says that we have gained, we are elected government, and Taliban should come and join us, which is which is improbable and impossible, and they will never join such a government led by Ashraf Ghani or his coterie. So this is American job to do it, to sort out Ghani. This should be done by Americans. But the blame game will be going on, and it will be going on against Pakistan, and it will be going on, being joined by some international elements also. They are also say that whatever is happening there is because of Pakistan. So I think we should give attention to two things. That anyway we should bring about a negotiated settlement. Without a negotiated settlement, there is no stable Afghanistan, there is no stable region, and otherwise the military victory of Taliban will disturb the social fabric of Pakistan. Whether you like it or not, whether the Taliban rulers will do it or not, but its ultimate consequences will be the disturbance of social fabric in Pakistan, and they will have a nexus with their like-minded people, and Taliban will be free to do whatever they like. And you don't know Afghan psyche. When they capture Kabul, they do whatever they like. And so therefore Pakistan should be vigilant, and because it's a Pakistan problem now, and Pakistan must not play a favorite game. Nobody is favored there, but Pakistan can face unavoidable circumstances in the form of terrorist activities if the Taliban win a war. And they would face the influx of refugees. This fence will not do, this will not abort any influx of refugees. They will just tear it apart when they come in thousands. What would do? Pakistan cannot kill 1,000 people. In thousands they will come with their trucks and with their vehicles, and they will tear apart this fence. So Pakistan must not lower its vigilance. So the most ideal situation is, Khalid Saab has pointed out, that ideal situation is a negotiated settlement, all-inclusive transitional government, all-inclusive of all ethnic, multi-ethnic society, all ethnicities, all political forces. Maybe Taliban will enjoy a dominant position there, but it should be a peaceful settlement, negotiated settlement. Otherwise, no, it's $1 million question that Taliban will achieve the peace which they had achieved in 90s. Because that's not possible. And secondly, Taliban have not changed. They are fighting because they are putting forward the same old ideology And for that ideology, their foot soldiers are fighting. And otherwise, they have not changed, only the conditions have changed. And the world wants that condition to remain there, to sustain those gains which have been made so far in Afghanistan. And to think that they have changed, they have not changed. To my mind, their strength has increased, and still they call themselves emirate. They have not abandoned that rhetoric. So we should tie them down to the condition, to the change condition. This is the job of international community, the job of Americans, and the job of Pakistan, to tie them to the changed circumstances. And they should rule. Nobody say they shouldn't rule. But if it is a peaceful transition, and one thing, that after 3 years, 4 years, will they agree to an election? That's a $1 million question. So thank you very much.